real job. I was built to fit perfect in a Maserati and to be the drunkest at the Grammy after party. I'm in the
Hey, welcome back to Analog Man Podcast. Welcome back. We're going to do some more Tom MacDonald. The person asked if I could kind of go back to the beginning of Tom MacDonald's career, which I don't know what the beginning is. So I'm going to go off with a recommendation, a song called Wannabe, which I've never heard. So let's just go into it and I'll do the reaction. I'll tell you what I think. Okay, we got a cow.
my song, yeah. I said, this is my song, and I'm dancing with the devil on the highway to hell in the middle of the road. This is my time to decide.
Well, first thing, before I even go, he's obviously younger. The hair is different. At first I was like, is this Tom MacDonald? But yeah, I guess I could see. I don't know how long ago this video was, but obviously I'm just gonna guess 10 years or so.
Devil in my mind now. Monogamy isn't the only thing I've been lying about. I'm in the belly of the beast and I'm riding around, rope in my hand. Should I hang myself or climb out? I feel like everyone around me about to make it, and I'm busy with some bitch I only fuck with when I'm faded. Let's say I'll grow to be a monster, but I am one. Why the fuck you think I've been calling myself Leanne's son? I ain't Thomas anymore, I ain't honest anymore. I don't give a shit about a broken promise anymore. I got back home from tour like a month ago, and I've been in the club getting drunk since a month ago.
Oh, so yeah, I'm just gonna, we'll have to figure out what I'm gonna do about the lyrics and stuff, because you know, on this podcast I try to minimize that. I don't want to censor, but I also don't want to propagate, so I've got to figure out some kind of combination there, because I get it. I don't want to, you know, destroy an artist's vibe or anything like that, but I also am trying to do right. So first thing I'm going to say is that lyric that he just kind of said there, I don't know, Leanne is probably his mom, right? So he's kind of saying something like, you know, he's going through a point in his life where he is no longer the persona that people think about him, and that he's actually kind of a darker person than you know, he's leading on. Maybe that's kind of what I'm getting from that. But yeah, we'll listen some more. I'm just kind of a little bit confused about the country scene. Maybe he just did it for the video. Is he originally from the country? I thought he was from Canada. So now I'm a little bit confused. Someone's gonna have to explain that to me. Go ahead and leave that in the comment section.
I ain't honest anymore. I don't give a shit about a broken promise anymore. I got back home from tour like a month ago, and I've been in the club getting drunk since a month ago. I lost the only girl I ever loved, bet you knew it, cause I said it a million times and now it's true. I swore that she would never ever come before my music, and now I see that every rapper sing the same tune. This is my song and I'm dancing with the devil on the highway to hell in the middle of the road. This is my time to decide if I'm gonna be a better man and cover everything I own and go. This is not the way. This is not the way. This is not the way that I wanna be.
It's like a showdown right here. This guy's got his dirty hoodie on. You know when a guy's coming up to you with a dirty hoodie, you just gotta be ready, bro. I think he's about to find out.
These rappers in the city that been talking shit and gangsters in the city, I've been talking about it too. There's women in the city I've been fucking with on weekends when I'm out late with my friends, but I'm still in love with who hates me. I'm guilty and I'm sure it's slowly killing me. I'ma take the fall and all responsibility. Jesus in my heart now. I heard he walk with you. I bring the car around, cause I don't have the time or the energy to forget about the past or forgive myself for anything. I'm way fucked. I just cut this whole tape on a party tip and now I'm like,
oh yeah, that was a good lyric right there. And he's talking about Jesus walking with him, but he needs more than walking. He needs him to get in the car and ride. So yeah, that was a dope lyric right there.
For anything, I'm way fucked. I just cut this whole tape on a party tip and now I'm like, what the fuck? When's the fucking party end? When I wanted to be good, no one else was. When I wanted to be rich, they wouldn't sell drugs. When she wanted us together, man, I guess I didn't. When I needed her to find me, she went missing. This is my song and I'm dancing with the devil on the highway to hell in the middle of the road. This is my time to decide if I'm gonna be a better man to cover everything I own and go. This is not the way. This is not the way
is not the way. This is
Yeah, this is a bad situation right here. A hella bad situation.
not the way that I wanna be. This is not the way that it goes down. This is not the way that it goes down. I'm gonna let it.
I'm 24 and I'm real enough to say if I don't make it big by 30, I'ma kill myself. I bet you think this is some super high thoughts, but I ain't made for a full-time position at a real job. I was built to fit perfect in a Maserati and to be the drunkest at the Grammy after party. I'm in this quiet gray area, no feelings. I'm in a loud gray Acura, no ceilings. I've been trying to figure out how to do it different. I broke too many hearts, I've never been religious. I'm all alone and all my friends are in the room. I don't wear wolves of fur, but I'm howling at the moon loud. I just don't know what to do now. I should move on, well there's no house to move out. Too many wannabes are living in my neighborhood, and I refuse to let them call me neighbors cause I'm really good. This is my song and I'm dancing with the devil on the highway to hell in the middle of the road. This is my time to decide if I'm gonna be.
You see right there was like, this is a very important part, right? His buddy rolled up. Now his buddy's in the situation. He's in the situation. Situation was the girl. That dude brought the situation and, you know, events, circumstances, and bad, real bad, right? And now his buddy was kind of in there and he had a choice right there. Stay in that situation or bounce. And, you know, he was debating because he had that loyalty, right? So it's just kind of showing that, like, these situations, different types of situations in life can just come upon you, and just, you know, the decisions that you make can, you know, affect the rest of your life, if you even have a life after that. And yeah, he's talking about all kinds of stuff. And yeah, that one lyric about wanting to make it, and, you know, I'm gonna have to mute a little bit, not because I don't want people to hear what he says. There's a little bit of YouTube, but also I'm trying to keep this where, you know, anybody can go on my videos and watch them. So um, yeah, that's a very heavy lyric.
Be a better man to cover everything I only know. This is not the way. This is not the way. This is not the way that I wanna be.
Yeah, you don't want to be like that, bro. Originally, I thought Wannabe was going to be something about like a wannabe rapper or something, you know, something to that extent. But for some reason, yeah, this took kind of a really dark turn. And yeah, I mean, this was the beginning of his career, which kind of gives you kind of a perspective of some of the things he might have been dealing with going in. Um, he was on the brink. That's what it looks like to me. Like, you know, there's situations where people are in and they're on the brink, and if they don't make a right decision right there, it's over. And he was kind of like talking about a time maybe when he was dealing with that, especially, you know, he talked about his tour, about drinking heavily after, and he's like, I'm not that guy that you think I am. I'm really this other guy. And all the you know, the issues when it comes to women and relationships and love and passion, and especially around that age. You know, he's like 25. As a man, you're like just full of testosterone. You're peaking on just all of that aggression is there. And, you know, anything that goes sideways could go sideways real quick, especially when it involves women, right? Trying to, you know, protect your girl, so to speak. I've had a lot of experience with situations like that. Like when I was in high school, like for some reason, some of the older girls liked me a lot, and their boyfriends did not like that. And so, you know, one thing would lead to another, and they'd come after me, you know. So I had to stand my ground and I had to fight. And a few of them got pretty ugly, pretty ugly. One that's really kind of funny that happened, and I'm not going to get too much into it because this person kind of got famous for a little while because he was dating one of the Spice Girls, actually married one of the Spice Girls, and he was a complete liar. He pretended he was somebody he wasn't. And yeah, so when I was younger, I fought that dude, and let's just put it this way, it didn't end well for him. And you know, you could probably figure that out because you can go down that rabbit hole, and maybe if you leave in the comment section, I'll give you a heads up if it's the right person. But he was not a good actor at all. And you know, I was around people that were not good actors and were in situations close to what this guy was in. I was around people that were in situations like this, and maybe not quite this scenario, but bad scenarios. And the reality is that people, whether they're good, bad, decision making, there's a lot that happens prior to that point in that person's life that puts them in a situation where they're making decisions like that. I do listen to a lot of Ren's music. I don't know if you guys know Ren, but Ren kind of hits on that on Jenny and Scratch, which kind of shows like how circumstances and abuse is generational stuff, and then you just end up in a situation that repeats itself or it gets worse. He wasn't really saying that here. He was kind of just taking on his own self reflection of realizing that he has some demons that he's got to deal with. And, you know, until he can deal with those things, he can't present himself the way that people think he is. And there's a lot of people walking around like that. You know, we all have a little bit of that in us, and maybe not this extreme, but there's parts of us, whether that's like putting that smile on at work and pretending you like the boss when you're just like, dude, if the dude was on fire, I wouldn't, you know. But that's kind of mean and stuff. But I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of people walking around not being who they are authentically, and it's not always easy, especially if you're in different communities and places where people expect you to be a certain way. And yeah, it was an interesting video. I liked it actually. I liked the lyrics. They're pretty heavy. I have to figure out how I'm gonna go about covering this without like showing too much of that extreme stuff. Because as you guys know, if you've been following my podcast, it's just something I try to avoid. It's one of the reasons why I stopped listening to rap music, because it just seemed like you couldn't have a rap song out there without, yeah, it just seemed like for a long time in rap music, you know, you just couldn't listen to music without cursing or degrading or some type of lowering of values in order to hear the music. And so that's one of the reasons why I stopped listening to rap music. But I will say that, you know, this kind of has a little bit, not, you know, I don't want to say country to it, but I'm still trying to understand the whole country aspect, or if that was just something he decided to do for whatever reasons. But yeah, I found it interesting. The Joe Pesci burying a body type of thing. Yeah, any fight could go wrong. You know, you can get to a fight and it could go south really quick. And I'm gonna share a story about that. I know two guys who are normally were buddies. These guys used to bodyboard together. They'd be in the ocean all the time, like hanging out. Now, one of the guys is a smaller guy, and he had a mouth on him, and he was the type of guy that always liked to pick fights. He also happened to have a drug problem, and you know that didn't help things. So every time you see him, he was just kind of the guy you're like, okay, I just don't want there to be an issue. Like, you know, I had no problems. I'd be able to handle the guy, but it was just like, I just don't feel like getting into that today, right? So I just kind of avoided the guy. But he had another friend who I actually worked out with, and he was a strong dude, a tough guy, and he was a quiet guy. He was a very quiet guy. He didn't start fights or anything. Well, those two went out and partied together one night, and they went out and partied, and something crazy happened. They started fighting with each other, and the one guy ended up slamming the guy, and he hit his head on the concrete, and he did not wake up ever. So that guy basically, you know, went to jail for that. And so it was a crazy circumstance because you wouldn't even think that this would have happened because they were actually friends with each other. And it just shows you how like one wrong decision or one bad decision can lead to something catastrophic when you're living a life that way, or you're around people who are living a life that way. And so maybe Tom MacDonald was kind of talking a little bit about those kind of environments and circles that he was in, and that he was feeling on edge that at any point something could go wrong. And yeah, I can really understand that. That's one of the reasons why I got out of town, bro. I got out of those locations because I was just putting myself in that position over and over, and I was like, it's time for me to go. And I'm also the type of person that just does not like to back down, like, you know, even over stupid small stuff. And that came from my upbringing of having to stand your ground, or, you know, you're going to get bullied, and to the point where you become the bully. And that's pretty much the option in places like in the city, in certain environments where, you know, you just got to like, to be survive, you have to be the strongest, right? And you don't want anybody to be, so you don't want people targeting you every day. And you know that's what's going to happen. But not quite sure what all the lyrics are about, but that was like my take on it. I thought it was a pretty good rap music. The video, I won't say it's cheesy because it's kind of maybe in the beginning, it's not highly produced, but it was interesting. I wasn't expecting. I thought this was going to be more about being a wannabe rapper, or maybe them talking about him being white or something like that. But this had nothing to do with that. This was different. So really cool. Thanks for the suggestion. I appreciate that. If you guys are gonna leave suggestions, please try to use the stand store or catch me in the premieres live and make your suggestion in the premiere and then in the comment sections as well. But the priority is the stand store, then the lives, and then the comment section consensus, right? So I went back to the beginning. I don't know if this was his first song, but I could see, like, if it was in an early work, I could see how he started gaining traction from this song. So yeah, pretty cool for me to see. He looks a bit different. He's got less stuff on his face, I think. Kind of a little bit of a different appearance, but you can kind of already see it there. And he's on a ranch, doing some farm work. So I don't know how much farm work he did in Canada or wherever he's from, but maybe he was on a farm. I don't know. I'm on a farm now. I have my own farm. I have a couple. And I started out in the city on the concrete jungle, and there was no green in sight. But so I do farm work now, and I find it really stress relieving, and there's benefits to being outside and getting your hands dirty, and not getting into messes like this guy. But I don't know, if a guy rolls up to me with a Carhartt sweatshirt and salt stains on his on his shirt, I'll be ready, bro. I'll be ready, bro. I'll be ready. I'm not gonna let him get close. I'm just not gonna let him get close, bro. Even if there's a girl distracting me, I'm not gonna let him get close. I'll see you on the next one. This is the Analog Man Podcast. And give me a song suggestion real soon, and more Tom MacDonald on its way. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate all you guys coming back to the channel, leaving comments, and giving me motivation to do more songs. What do you think I should do next? Okay, I went back, turned back the clock, and how do you think I should handle the curse thing? Obviously I don't care that much about cursing, but again, when I repeat it, I've created it then, so can you understand my predicament? Maybe there's some young people that are watching, and I just don't want to be the guy that adds to that pile. You guys let me know, how should I handle that? Or I'm sure some people are gonna say, just don't do Tom MacDonald then. And I don't want that to be the case. I think there's probably a way to do it. You guys are smarter than me. Let me know. Put it in the comment section. I'll see you on the next one. I'm Wolfhound. I'm out.